Previously on Verity. You can see a bit of recognition in their eyes.
They're like still holding on to Riley's face as the claws are like digging into their face.
Don't know what's going on. I don't know what I'm doing. I can't stop it. I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to hurt anybody. I can't keep it at bay.
It's okay. It's okay.
The creature is standing right outside the door.
Wait, oh shit, that was Pastor Cohen.
The red Volkswagen Beetle slams into the monster and sends him flying into the wall of the Crossroads Cafe. The stranger shifts into gear and floors it out of there, with Pastor Cohen uncomfortably close behind, giving chase. So we will pick up with the precarious situation in which Billy and Lewis find themselves in. You guys got picked up in a car, and they drove away from the scene, kiting the monster that you guys had in front of the diner, away from the diner, as it is now in hot pursuit of your car. The person that picked you up in their car did not speak. They have yet to say a thing to you. They are just kind of driving stick, letting the wind run through their hair. You see that they begin to speed down the street away from the diner there, and they take a hard left onto the street toward the church.
So we've run into you, at least I have, 2 times now, and they've both been in conjunction with these things. Do you mind introducing yourself?
The figure in the driver's seat looks at you for a split second and then continues to drive.
Can you at least tell me if you're involved in the Ember Syndicate?
When you say that, the figure laughs a little bit. It's a very echoey laugh. It seems to fill the entirety of the small car, and as he lets out that laugh, you feel the car just kick, and you hear it rev, and the pedal is just to the metal. Like, this car is just going dangerously fast, I should probably say, down the street.
I know that we're running for something, but there's a speed limit, you know.
You hear as this laugh turns more into a maniacal laugh, like it seems very unhinged as it continues to get faster and faster toward the church.
I'm gonna poke Lewis on the shoulder and be like, "Do you know this guy?"
He's the one that helped Jonas and I take care of the slug all the way back when. He was on a dirt bike this time, now he's in a car, don't know his name, and honestly he's starting to give me weird vibes.
I'm not gonna complain. He got us out of there.
I mean, you don't see me complaining either. You know what to say about a gift horse, but I have a feeling he has something to do with Amber and everything back at school.
You guys kind of have this conversation while all this is happening. If you guys look behind you, you see the creature that was in front of the diner is in a hot pursuit. It's gotten to a point where it's almost running on 4 legs. It's almost making speed with the car that is going remarkably fast. The car gets to the church, and the driver takes a hard left, and it goes like 2 wheels for a second. Like, you guys almost flip over. And the car goes full speed towards the church doors with no sign of stopping.
I thought the whole point was that we weren't supposed to let people know what's happening!
The laughter just gets crazier and crazier and louder as you guys crash right into the front of the church. You feel yourself flung into the church, but it doesn't seem like you've gotten any harm from it. As you watch, you see that the car outside the door is completely totaled. It's crushed, it's smashed in front of this door, but the 3 of you have miraculously made it into this church alive.
And the point of that was?
You see that the figure puts its hand in front of where, its mouth would be, and it giggles and then just disappears.
What the hell? Why are things disappearing on me now? I'm nervous. That must be one of the quote-unquote good ones Amber told us about. Billy, oh God, Billy, are you okay? I start trying to shake him awake, thinking that he's either dead or unconscious.
I'm just laying on the floor.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, I'm fine for now.
Yeah, you guys kind of sit here taking in your bearings. As you look up, you see the doorway, beyond the doorway, I should say, probably at the edge of the parking lot. You see that the creature is just standing, and they just slowly begin to walk toward the church.
Oh, goodness.
Billy whips out his trusty bottle of holy water.
I forgot you had that. I'm just gonna get a hard grip on my knife and just brace myself right and fight. And I'm gonna look to Billy and say, if I die here, don't let a single one of these bastards live.
bold of you to assume I'm going to make it through this.
You got holy water. I got a pocket knife. You're in a better hole here, buddy.
And you watch as the creature finally kind of makes it to the wreckage of the car and just picks up this 4-door and just like pushes it to the side and stands in the doorway, and it just starts like punching at the walls as the thuds just echo around you in this empty church.
When it gets into the actual church itself, does it have like a reaction of like, "Oh, this place is holy"?
It does not enter the church at all.
Oh, it's not entering. Interesting.
Jonas, you have exited the turned over car, and you saw, as you were running, you saw that Riley has also broken out of her bonds and is now chasing after you as well. You said that you were running toward the
39 stripes.
Yeah, so you're running towards the 39 stripes. So I do know that we did establish that it is an abandoned location. So I'm assuming you don't usually go through the front door. Like, is there a side door or a back door or some sort of secret entrance that Jonas and his friends usually enter with?
Yes. Yeah, I'd imagine the front door is probably like barred off as it is officially closed.
Yeah, so what's like that secret entrance that you guys have in there?
It's like a little window, sort of towards the back of the building that leads into one of the restrooms.
You are hauling ass to that window there, and you just parkour your way up to a window, I'd like to think.
When I get in through the window, as I'm like looking around and just kind of wandering in bewilderment, could I take a second to try to cast a spell to heal myself?
Yeah, you can probably do that. You'll need to roll plus weird to do that, though. Roll on some use magic.
That is a 12.
With use magic, it's a 10 plus, so the magic works without any issues. I'm assuming that your effect is going to be heal 1 harm from an injury.
Yes, from the car crash.
Okay, yeah, car crash ain't no good. You heal yourself with the new magics that you're figuring out from your Kindle, and you get into like that main area of the 39 stripes. Like usual, the interior is nearly pitch black. There's dim moonlight that pours in through like the windows and like the glass front door. And in the moonlight, you can see silhouettes of scaffolding that are creating like a type of maze throughout this entire building. As you know, they've tried to like remodel many times. You've heard rumors that the Eventide shopping center that's in the process of being built is probably going to take this place over. But it's pitch black and there's like all that scaffolding all over the place. And you hear the shattering of glass as the front door of the bowling alley just bursts open. You see like one of the doors like flies into the middle of the room and just knocks over a whole bunch of scaffolding there. And you see, backlit by the moonlight, just the silhouette of Riley.
Just like old times, right? You coming in? I don't bite. Come on, nothing to be afraid of. No one's here to hurt you, just me.
With that, you see that they finally take a step. They get into the bowling alley. They look up at you.
As Riley is like stepping forward, Jonas is just backpedaling. Like he loves her, but can't really stay close right now.
Okay, so you kind of bury yourself into this like scaffolding maze that is this just open construction area here. That would definitely give you guys a bit of distance here. And almost in like the blink of an eye, the second you see that foot go down, she zooms right towards you at breakneck speeds. As she does, like she knocks down like a bunch of like those metal scaffolding. They're just like being pushed to the side, and you can just hear like a bunch of just clattering and clanging of just like all of this like these tools and construction shit just like falling as you can see that she's getting closer and closer.
Do I have an opportunity to jump out of the way? Actually, you know what? I'm gonna stand vigil. I'm not even gonna try and dodge.
Riley at one point starts to climb up one of these racks of scaffolding there, just jumps up, grabs onto it, and just pulls herself up. And due to the nature of this building being like dark as hell, I think you lose sight of her.
Yeah. Jonas I'd imagine I lose sight, but I can hear her like clambering around up there. So
yeah, there's a moment where like she gets up and you stop hearing things for a while. And like every so often you hear a creak over to like the north side of the room and then another one in like the south side. And I think that your perception's kind of fucked at this point.
remember this place? A lot of good times we had here. I mean, I can't see, but I'm sure you can. So I'm sure you remember that, and I'll point to the general area where I know there's a good handful of like small circular scorch marks on the ground. Remember Buddy's Roman candles? Nearly burned this place to the ground after they closed. And then over there, and I'll point to one of the lanes. Remember how you tricked Buddy into running out on them? Fell on his ass, couldn't sit for like a week straight. Good times.
At one point, you're telling these stories as you're feeling your way through the scaffolding. Like, you feel the vibrations as they all kind of squeak, and you hear shit fall off of the scaffolding, like the wooden planks and whatnot. Hear just like a thud, and it's like right in front of you. You kind of see like a reflection there of these yellow eyes as you see that Riley has just landed right in front of you and is like staring deep into your eyes as they begin to slowly walk towards you.
I'm actually gonna slowly approach as well. And Jonas extends a hand. It's just me. Everything's fine. You're fine. You're safe. Come back to me, Riley.
When you say that, Riley lets out this hiss, and you see that they jump at you, and they actually pin you to the ground. And in doing so, they push you into one of the scaffolding racks there, and you just hear a bunch of them start to fall over. Everything is falling down around you guys. You guys are kind of face to face on the ground. She has you pinned, and the yellow in her eyes just keep getting more yellow, like a deeper, deeper yellow.
Jonas is going to reach up and remember who you are, Riley. You're not this. You're my best friend. You're my sister. I love you. Please, come back to me.
You see the yellow in the eyes flicker for a moment as Riley kind of lets up on you for a moment. They stand up. For a second, you see that they growl, kind of like shake a little bit, and then they pick you up by like your collar and just throw you into like this rack. And as you collide with it, it falls over. Something above you starts to fall. This generator that's probably the size of like a mini fridge starts to fall down on top of you.
Do I have a chance to try and scuttle out of the way of that?
Go ahead to make a act under pressure roll for that.
5.
Make sure you mark that experience there.
Yep.
As you get slammed into this scaffolding, you hear like a screw drop, and this generator just falls on top of you. You hear one of like your ribs crack, so take 3 harm there. As that was happening, Riley kind of was charging at you again. She kind of sees how fucked up you are. She's about to pounce again, but then you see that flicker in her eyes. She falls to her knees, and she begins to fucking sob. And she picks you up in her arms and like looks behind her and just runs out of the bowling alley. Okay, back at the church, folks. We got Billy and Lewis and the monster banging on that door.
Oh boy. It seems like it doesn't want to come in.
Yeah, let's keep it that way.
I know that Amber said the number that she used was going to change, but I'm just going to go on an off chance and send a message out to that number and pray that she gets it somehow.
So you give that phone number a call, and it rings once, and then you hear a voicemail tone. However, you hear Amber's voice. She says, "If you have this number, you shouldn't, but if it's something important, leave a message."
Yeah, we had a lot less time than we thought. If you have a second, meet Billy and I at the church. Things have already gone down.
Okay. You guys are in these readied positions to attack, and this creature is just standing there outside of the church and going at it at the walls and whatnot.
I mean, based on the fact that this thing with one hand shoved the 4-door to the side, it could probably break through a church door.
The spray bottle has the stream setting. Do you want to give that a go?
Billy, this is going to sound stupid, but here's my plan. You try that stream setting. I'm going to go out and try this. Okay, I'll say I grab the crucifix just for the sake of, like, holding it. If this fails...
Hold on. What are you doing?
I'm going to see if it has a reaction to this.
Across? It does.
Oh, okay. I'm going to go out, see if this helps at all. If it doesn't work, I'm going to come running back, spray it as it's chasing me. So with that being said, I'm going to go out to this thing, and he's going to make eye contact with Father Cohen. Hey, fuck ass! I'm gonna pull out the crucifix, and I'm just gonna yell, "You have no power here! Get out! Leave Father Cohen be!"
You see that the creature kind of like smiles and like laughs a little bit, and it like looks at the crucifix and it winces a little bit, and it like steps back, and you see that it picks up the car and just like puts it in the doorway again, and it just runs into the woods.
Alright, I think we've driven it off now.
You guys see that a black car pulls up, and you see the window rolls down, and it is Amber Arenetti.
Oh, Amber, thank God!
She gets out of the driver's side, opens up the back door. She's like, "Get in."
I nod and I get in.
And you guys get into the car, and she just peels out. You see that she drives toward Morningside Hospital.
Once we get in the car and we're a little ways away from the church, I don't know what power its name has in reality, but I believe it is how do I want to say this safely? A Wendenope.
She stays silent for like a moment or two, and she just says, "So you made this discovery before or after you brought it into civilization?"
Well, we weren't trying to bring it into civilization. I feel like that goes without saying.
Amber's quiet for a moment again. She's running a few like stop signs and she's not stopping. She finally gets you guys to the hospital. Paramedics come out and she opens the door for you.
We haven't made contact with Jonas.
As they kind of load Billy, they pick you up, put you on a gurney, and bring you into the hospital. She says, "After this, Lewis, I'm pretty sure we're done." Some doctors come up to you, kind of like put their hands on your shoulder, like make sure that you're okay. And Amber just gets back into her car and pulls off.
Lewis is speechless.
Jonas, you're coming in and out of consciousness a little bit. You feel just like this immense wind on your face as you open your eyes and you see that you're running through wooded areas and like these backyards, and you see the hospital in front of you. Riley sets you down on like the bench in front of the hospital. She strokes your cheek.
Jonas like grabs her like by the wrist. Then they take off their jacket and wrap it around Riley. Stay safe, sis.
You see that Riley hesitates for a moment and almost takes the jacket off, but then she nods. Her face has tears like streaked down them, and she just books it into the woods behind the hospital. You're on the bench for a moment until you actually see that black car pull up, and these doctors come out. They see you and they're like, "Are you okay?" And you see that Billy and Lewis are both kind of on gurneys themselves. They take you in as well. They kind of like walk you in, like not on a gurney, but they walk you in.
Yeah. The whole way in, Jonas is just like, I promise I'm fine.
Are you sure?
Thanks. I was actually waiting for these two. And they gesture to the other two.
And we will flash forward to the next morning as you guys kind of wake up. Lewis and Billy are probably in the same room recuperating. Jonas, did you stay the night? Did you go home?
Jonas would have stayed for a little bit, but then gone home. And over the course of the night, they would definitely be using magic, or at least attempting to heal their wounds. Last thing they need right now is a hospital bill to rile up their mother.
So are you coming to see these guys in the morning, or are you just kind of sleeping in, dealing with what just happened here?
I feel like Jonas definitely sleeps in, not intentionally, but then like first thing once they get up, they're gonna head down to the hospital to check on those two.
So we will get back to when you guys reconvene there. You guys have been put under by some pretty dope ass anesthetics. You kind of like wake up, like both of you kind of groggily wake up in a familiar place, which is a hospital room. And you see Jonas kind of like standing in the doorway.
Jonas, I saw you come in last night. Did you find one too?
I don't know what you're referring to, but I'm gonna say yes. I found something. I saw Amber brought you guys here like on the brink of death. What the hell happened?
I'm gonna make sure no one's listening. There's a Wendenope on the loose, and it's Father Cohen.
Huh. Jonas looks not so much confused, but more that's not the knowledge that I had type confused, you know?
You seem conflicted. You seems like you know something we don't.
Nothing. I ran into one too, but it wasn't Father Cohen.
Did you know who it was, or was it just an unfamiliar face?
I I don't know. Sorry. How do you know that one that you guys fought was Father Cohen?
Well, Father Cohen was missing from the church. This one bared a resemblance to him and nearly killed the both of us. As you know, they're weak to holy artifacts, so we were able to back him off of a crucifix, but not before accidentally cutting him to the diner.
Wait, what?
We may or may not have let a good chunk of Balderston see it.
Wait, what? No, that's not even what I was Okay, that's two things. Weak to holy artifacts?
Yeah,
That's not a Wendigo.
Wait, Jonas, you're right.
Yeah, you said crucifix, and I look over to Billy. I assume that's holy water?
Yes.
And he pulls out the crucifix he found too. I'm a religious man.
Oh, I see.
Wait, Jonas, you're right. Why? My gut reflex was Wendigo, and I got stuck on it.
No, I'm totally with you. I thought mine was a Wendigo too, but I mean, maybe they weren't the same thing?
So, what does yours do? What was it like?
Super fast, super strong, natural regeneration, had these wicked claws, could see in the dark, had a ravenous hunger. It reads Wendigo, but
It fits the bill. We literally saw ours feasting on a line of woodland creatures. That's where we first found it, and then it caught us in the church, and then we ran, and then it caught us in the diner, and then the police came, and then shots fired, and then people died, and then we kited it back to the church.
oh yeah, we should probably get back to that. You did what?
We were both on death's door. We were trying to get to the hospital, but it ended up following us, and we had to duck in for cover.
Jonas just they were standing before, but at this they take a seat and they just let out a heavy just exhale. Wow, I need to think about this. Jesus.
You're not the first person to be shocked. We had to tell Amber. Let's put it this way. To the best of my knowledge, at the very least, I am going into immediate monster hunting retirement.
God. You said people died. How many?
A couple police officers, they surrounded him, tried to kill him, and obviously it didn't work. I'm just happy Sheriff Ewing wasn't involved in all this. Did you catch sight of him? I know you're friends with his daughter.
No, I mean, I talked to him earlier yesterday, but nothing really beyond that.
Hey, I have a question.
What's going on, Billy?
Yeah? What's up?
So this thing is allergic to holy stuff, right?
Yes.
What if we lure it into the church, but fill it with holy items and lock them in there?
Do you need to fill a church with holy items? I feel like the stuff in there is already.
Yeah, I feel like those come pre-packed.
Holy items sold separately.
Some assembly required.
Do you think whatever's possessing him would leave?
It's not a possession.
It's not? How do you know?
Well, I mean, assuming that our two things are the same kind of creature, I tried that. I tried to banish a curse, a spirit. There was nothing to banish. Whatever these things are,
What method did you use? Smudge sticks or proper exorcism?
magic. I don't know what?
Oh yeah, that's right. You could do magic. I'm sorry. The anesthetic still had me loopy. I'm sorry.
It's fine. Whatever these things are, it's not a possession. They just are that.
No disrespect, Magic Man, but we did see their cross, like physically hurt it.
That we did.
I don't see your point. I mean, those aren't mutually exclusive.
Wait a minute, Jonas. You're in my British lit, right?
If I say no, do I have to write that paper?
No, you don't have to write a paper. What? I digress. I did that section on post-apocalyptic literature. I Am Legend. Matheson. They weren't real vampires. What caused it?
Vampire. I didn't think about that.
I'm not talking about them being vampires. What caused them to be vampires in the novel?
Listen, don't out me like this. I don't know. I may be a little bit behind.
Okay, so you're not reading. Got it. A bacilli. A virus.
You think it's a virus?
You tried to expel a spirit. What if there is something in them biologically that's triggering this? The medical term for a Wendigo is Wendigo psychosis.
Well, psychosis isn't exactly the same as a virus.
I'm saying the psychosis is a symptom in the same way that in the novel, I'm sorry, I'm spoiling this for you.
I've seen the movie.
You are going to okay, now this is Donald getting mad. You're going to compare the movie to the book? I hate you. Okay, back to Lewis. The vampires
Oh, the Darkseekers.
in the movie, I guess, are infected with a virus. They're not so much a virus, more a bacteria, a bacilli. And it causes a hunger for blood because the blood produces oxygen in an anaerobic environment, and that could explain its need for meat, the blood within destroyed meat. What if we can get a sample of one's blood?
How, pray tell, are you going to do that?
Syringe.
How are you going to get a syringe into this thing's body without it ripping your insides into your outsides?
Long stick.
I mean, if we can bind it with something holy. Wait, your magic can bar things and keep them in place, right?
I mean, for a little bit, yeah.
That might buy us enough time to pull a sample. And we can get it to Dr. Shelley. He can find it, and we can isolate it and destroy it.
Dr. Shelley isn't the guy from the book. That was fake. He's not a biologist or whatever. He builds things. He creates things. He doesn't. I
What
don't.
class did you have him for?
Chemistry, not biology.
I mean, he's our best bet. He has hundreds and hundreds of years of knowledge, and at least a little bit of know-how.
I mean, I guess.
I will admit this plan does sort of hinge on a lot. It also hinges on me being right.
So it's not a good plan.
That doesn't really happen very often.
Lewis has done nothing wrong. Actually, no, he has.
You can't claim that after last session, Donald. I don't know if that's the best plan, but you got me thinking. Vampire. That might be what we're dealing with. Think about it. Super strong, super fast, sees in the dark, wicked claws. I mean, I think we've been thinking about it wrong. That does read like Wendigo, but those are all the same things as vampires.
I think we got hung up on the gauntness and the hunger. I mean, not every vampire is a debutante blood drinker. Some of them are voracious, just killers.
Yeah, like almost like feral animals. And plus, if you're talking about holy artifacts and the fact that I couldn't banish a spirit or curse, which I'd imagine a Wendigo would have been,
I mean, yes, Wendigos are curses. They're a spirit that inhabits a body that consumes itself with greed.
now the question is, how do we defeat a vampire?
How do we defeat 2 vampires?
Stake through the heart.
And you're to blame.
Anyway, how do we subdue a vampire? I'm not killing Pastor Cohen.
Yeah, that's kind of on the bottom of my list too. If we can do this without killing Father Cohen and whoever this other person is.
Billy's obviously played Skyrim.
Okay, so Billy just starts referencing Skyrim. Jonas sort of sits up. I mean, I've never done it myself because why the hell would I want to cure Serana? But there's this like ritual that you can do. I don't remember, I'm gonna be honest. I've seen it, I haven't done it because that's the definitive wrong choice. Would there be a way to? I mean, Jonas like immediately pulls out their Kindle and starts looking through the grimoires and text, and I want to see if I can find anything that relates to a ritual or whatever types of magic that could potentially cure vampirism. Do I get any specifics on the materials or time of day, place? Do I get any information on that type of stuff?
I will say that in your Mystic Library, I don't think that there's an explicit ritual for curing vampirism, but you could probably piece together a few things from different rituals and stuff like that.
Yeah. So Jonas, as they're looking through like big books, speed reading through fucking an entire compendium of magic,
You know you can speed read I Am Legend too.
they don't respond. After like maybe 10, 20 seconds of just intent focus on this Kindle, they stand up and exit the room. And as they're like on the way out, they turn back and they go, I think I can piece a ritual together. I need to go. I need to focus on this.
I'm gonna do some digging myself and then see if I can put together a plan B.
Cool. And they leave.
Billy and Lewis, you guys are in Morningside Hospital still. Jonas has just left. What are you two gonna do here?
I don't have any books on me, but this chance I get to go back to the house, I'm gonna head to the funny lore library. Billy, if you wanna come over and do another little occult study session?
That sounds good to me.
Are we at the point where we can like clear our harm or
Take away enough so that you're not unstable, but you guys would still both be at 3 for the time being.
okay, sounds good. I will go ahead and leave AMA then. And I'll sign all the papers and shit.
All right, so are you guys just kind of checking yourselves out of the hospital and just kind of going back to Lewis's abode?
I mean, if they let us.
I have to imagine that the doctors can't really stop you. I mean, there's a point where, if you say, I'm going home, they're like, all right, we don't recommend it. So what exactly are you guys looking for in the lore library here?
I'm looking at cases of vampirism. I'm looking at different variants of the vampire myth, where they're eating meat instead of blood. I'm looking for ways to cleanse the vampire without hurting the person. And also any cases of an infection causing any of these things, if Lewis's theory holds up.
Okay, so go ahead, just roll me a sharp just to see what you can discern there.
This would be a 4.
You got a 4. All right, mark that experience. You kind of try to like read up on it, but you are just not in the correct headspace here to kind of to like look for information. You read like a chapter of like Dracula, and you try to Google some old myths, and you're just coming up with like the same conclusions. It's not the lack of information that you have, but after reading the simple stuff, you're like, yeah, it's a vampire. Vampires are vampires.
The strength of the vampires, that no one will believe in them. Well, no one fucking wrote about them either, and he'll shove the book to the side. I'm still kicking myself about this whole diner thing, Billy. People died because of us.
I mean, we're not trained professionals.
Can you be a trained professional for this?
Yes. So you find anything good?
Just a lot of the same. Honestly, I'm just not in a good headspace right now, just both physically and morally. I can't focus. I just keep hearing those cops screaming. And if we just would have pieced together earlier, we wouldn't have ran. If we wouldn't have ran, we wouldn't have gone to the diner. If we wouldn't have gone to the diner, the police wouldn't show up. If the police wouldn't show up, then no one would have died.
Well, if I stayed in the church, I would have died, so
I know, we needed to get you out. But,
don't be so hard on yourself. We're not trained to do this.
and I'm trained to teach Shakespeare. I guess you're right. I should stop beating myself up about it, although I'm gonna try to keep reading. If I might end up falling asleep in the middle of all this. If I fall asleep in the middle of all this and you need to go, just see yourself out the door. Lewis is going to keep staring at this page, although he knows damn well he's not gonna be able to read a word.
There's probably a point 30 minutes into this process where I think you just pass out. Billy, are you just going to stay in Lewis's house after he's just fallen asleep on his couch?
No, Billy's leaving. That's weird.
So yeah, you show yourself out. As you're leaving the apartment, you see that there's like probably like a Jonas aged child, like it's like a teenager, probably like 16ish, walking up through the hallway towards you, and you guys pass each other. They see you and they say, "Hey, do you know Lewis Green?"
I mean, we know of each other.
This is his apartment, right?
I don't know. We're not that, I don't know him that well.
Okay. So, I mean, you just came out of the apartment. I assumed you knew who lived in there.
Yeah, he's just one of my, League of Legends friends.
Yeah. So this is his apartment?
Well, why do you need him?
I just have a couple of questions for him. I feel like he's the only person that can really answer them for me.
I mean, he might be busy. I don't know where he's at.
Weren't you just in there?
I was at a different person's apartment.
I just saw you walk out of it, my man.
I send Lewis a text that there's a kid asking about you. And I keep texting you until you wake up.
Like a kid. And I'll pop my head out the door.
You pop your head out and you see that it's one of your students that are in SAFT.
Do I know the student's name?
It's Craig.
Craig. All right.
He says, "Hi, Mr. Green. I don't mean to stalk you here, but I looked you up in Yellow Pages. Obviously, addresses aren't super hidden from, the internet, so I kind of have a few questions, and I kind of need them answered. And I feel like you're the only person who can help me out right now."
Are these classwork questions? And I look around and to see if no one else is here.
He kind of looks over at Billy for a second, and then looks back at you. He's like,
Or are these SAFT questions?
they're SAFT questions.
Okay. If they're SAFT questions, he can be trusted to a point, unless you don't want him around when you say it. In which case, I completely understand. Billy,
I don't care.
if you don't feel comfortable, Billy, can you see yourself up?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
As Billy walks off my floor, and I hear him start going down the stairs. So Craig, what's on your mind?
So I was at the diner last night. I saw you there.
Oh God, yeah.
I know that we talk about scary shit. I'm sorry.
You're not in school. I don't care.
I know that we talk about scary stuff in SAFT meetings and whatnot, but are they real?
Would Lewis just shoot straight with his kid, or would he gaslight him to high hell?
Let me gaslight a 16-year-old real fast.
Lewis is not the kind of gaslight. He wouldn't do it. You know how they talk about life imitating art? Sometimes life is imitated by art. I mean, there's things out there that life just throws at us as a species and as a community that we have to figure out. Sometimes they're mundane things like serial killers and global warming and politicians. But just as there are forces for evil things, there are forces for good. And those forces are constantly working in our favor. I don't think you should have anything to worry about.
Craig nods and he says,
But Craig, before you go, can you do me a favor?
I'm not leaving yet. I still have stuff to say.
Oh, okay, never mind. I apologize, NPC. Go on.
I really hope that good prevails. It's always working around the clock, like you say it does. He lowers his head and he says, my dad's been on the force for a while, and I guess last night was his last rodeo.
Oh my gosh, Craig, I am so sorry.
I just wanted to get an idea of what killed my dad. Sorry, my mom's parked out front. I told her that I had to pick up something from my friend here.
Do me a favor. Keep this conversation between us.
He just kind of nods. He's like, okay. He just kind of walks off. And where are you off to then, Jonas?
The 39 stripes.
Once you get down to the 39 stripes, so this parking lot is usually pretty empty unless, there's like trucks in there for construction and whatnot. But you see just a bunch of black SUVs in the parking lot there.
Oh, shit. I would like to essentially project my vision into the inside of the 39 stripes and see if I can spot Riley, like, inside without actually going in.
Yeah, so if you want to do that, go ahead and roll plus weird.
That's a 12.
Yeah, what's your effect?
What was it? Observe another place or time.
So I think that you just go catatonic and you feel like the owl pendant on your chest kind of heat up as there's like a light, and your sight just kind of speeds toward the bowling alley, right? You want to look into the 79 stripes. Is it 79? 39 stripes.
39. 40 too many.
There's a lot, a lot more stripes. But you would just want to project your vision into the 39 stripes.
Correct. And if possible, I'd like to sort of move the vision as though I'm inside of it and look around, see if I can find Riley.
I think you're able to do that. That should be fine. So you see in there, you project your vision in there as you kind of just stand catatonic into this in the parking lot here or wherever you're standing.
Jonas would sort of back off a little bit, but stay within line of sight, just so they're not obviously, like you said, standing in the middle of the parking lot.
Yeah. You probably clock about 7 men and women in windbreakers poking their nose around in this area. They look like they're scoping out what happened last night. Some of them are picking up the metal pieces of scaffolding there, just kind of trying to fix up the scene. But other ones are kind of like snooping around there.
Nice. And do I see Riley anywhere?
No, you cannot. You even look in like the bathroom. You even look, in like this main area over by like the decommissioned concession stand.
I would also like to, if possible, within this same use of magic, shift my focus into each of the SUVs to see if there's anyone being held inside of those.
There's probably like a passenger or two in some of them just kind of keeping watch of the area. There's other agents in here and windbreakers.
I'm going to be bold. I'm going to be brash, like the painting. Jonas is going to stand up and just walk straight toward the scene. They're going to call out to the men in black and just be like, "Hey, fellas, what are you guys looking at?"
So, I mean, from your point of view and from what you remember, there are some people in the cars which cannot be seen from the outside, and the other ones are inside. It doesn't seem like there's any posted outside.
Jonas would walk up to the nearest car, I suppose, and knock on the window as if they just assume someone is in there. Wait a couple seconds. Is there a response? Do they roll the window down?
There is no response, but a few seconds later, you see somebody come out of the front door of the alley there in full construction regalia. It's a person that you saw before, but they were not wearing this outfit, and they're like, "Hey kid, what are you doing here?"
Actually, I was gonna ask you the same thing. What's happening over here? What's with all the they gesture to the several black SUVs.
Yeah, there's probably like 3 to 4. Gets vehicles to carry tools, kid. You know how construction works?
I do. They typically don't use black SUVs. I was just very curious.
Well, person who had us on the job got black SUVs for us. We're very lucky, so.
Seems a little inefficient if you ask me.
Hey, ask the guy who got us on the job. I'm not the boss. He is.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I am going to start reading their mind.
Cool, so go ahead and just roll a plus sharp.
12.
Very good. Cool. With a 12 on Investigate a Mystery on a 10 plus, you get to ask 2 questions.
Excellent. So my first question is going to be, what is being concealed here?
I think you get flashes as you're kind of talking to this guy. You see that you kind of leave your body for a second, and your sight just zooms into this guy's head, and you see flashes of them pulling up early in the morning, and you see they're getting out. They have like these walkies on, and you see they have there's like a conversation in between like two of them, and one of them's like, "Yeah, I knew weird shit's been going down here for a while, so it's a good thing we finally caught some wind of it. Figure out what's going on here." And the one that they're talking to, obviously, we're gonna have to keep this mission here on the down low. Don't want to freak out these small town rednecks or whatnot. And as you kind of see that vision of them speaking, you are kind of shot back into your own body.
Excellent. Question. I know these typically pertain to monsters, but I guess I'm asking it in relation to this one guy. What was it going to do?
Once you're now back into your head, you begin to get flashes of his memories there for a second, and you see that this particular person is standing by the door within the interior there. He's just watching everybody else kind of cover the tracks and make it look like nothing happened last night.
Okay. All right. All right.
You do also see that there are other people in here that are dusting for prints, trying to find any sort of clues as to what did happen here. And you see that there's one agent that pulls up a strand of blonde hair and says, I think I got something. And immediately, like, the hallucination stops.
That wasn't something I saw like with my eyes in front of me. That's not in my line of sight. It was just in my head.
That was one of his memories.
Okay, I see.
After like this happens, and you're kind of just talking to this guy, you feel this pain in your head.
Jonas falls to the ground, like first to one knee and then probably to all fours, and is holding their head in pain.
You okay there, buddy? You hear this whisper from the source of the pain, and like you feel your pendant just like start to heat up. The whisper just says,
"Give him your pain."
Jonas, not even in control of their body, their arm just shoots out and grabs this guy's wrist and obeys the wish of the pendant.
You grab this guy's wrist, and you feel this energy coursing from like the back of your head down your arm and into this guy, and you see that immediately his veins start to glow with almost the same light that the pendant glows with, and it's like this bright white light, and suddenly it just turns red, like this deep like red light. And the guy begins to go like, "What the hell?" And like the second he says that, you see that he just stops talking as if he can't speak anymore, and he grabs his head and falls to his knees. You see that blood starts to come out of his ears. He looks at you, like his eyes super wide as he grabs for his chest, and he falls to the ground.
Jonas is still on all fours. Is Jonas still in pain right now, or are they?
Oh no, the second that like you listened and grabbed this guy's arm and like it transferred, that like energy that coursed through your body from the back of your head, it went away just like that.
Okay. Seeing the man crumple, I would imagine, right in front of them, Jonas is visibly confused, and they start to like. Well, first they look down to the man, and they're like, "Are you okay?" And I guess like flip them over, look at their face and stuff, get like vitals.
You flip him over and his face is completely blue.
Holy shit.
You go to feel for like breath or like a heartbeat, and there's not one there.
Jonas starts screaming for help, and frantically they'll run a few steps in one direction, then run a few steps in the other direction. They do that for a little bit in the parking lot as they're screaming for help, and then when it seems as though no one outside is helping, they're going to run into the 39 stripes and keep screaming for help.
A bunch of folks from within that are all now wearing construction regalia come out, and they're looking around, and they look like they're looking past you, and none of them seem to like notice you at all, and it's as if they can't even see you.
The whole time as these guys are like piling out of the 39 stripes, Jonas is begging and pleading for them to help the guy who just collapsed, until eventually I guess it dawns on Jonas that no one seems to be not even noticing, no one seems to be perceiving them. Jonas will hang around for maybe a minute max before heading into the 39 stripes.
As you use that as your getaway there, you realize that the pendant is like burning hot, and that whisper in the back of your mind just says,
No witnesses.